When I watch you and you're almost at failure, that is my warm-up set. You train like a pussy. Like most people in the gym. If you're watching this video right now, you probably train like a How are we supposed to motivate people to study when there's no way they could fail? And so no wonder you all suck so bad.
Who is the most crackable skin in Fortnite? Obviously, there's a lot of competitors for the #1 skin that we are all cracking.
This is a brain rot special.
Tia Matic cooking in the basement.
And so how exactly should you train? Dorian Yates is going to tell us that Mr. Mike was all wrong, that he doesn't know what he's talking about, that his body is literally an experiment proving Mr. Mike is wrong. Also, we're going to be calling out the bodybuilders in the fitness industry. What's up with the synthol, the oil injections, the PMMA? It's ruining the sport, and we have had enough. We're going to be telling you exactly what's going on. And so stay tuned. We're about to get restarted.
Train with 2 reps in reserve. Well, how is that scientific? How do you measure 2 reps in reserve?
And so you can't know what 2 reps in reserve is unless you've literally gone to failure, to level 4, that is, and you rewind time and see what those 2 reps were like. You can approximate it. You can take a guess. Oh, I was starting to slow down. When you get close to failure, the rep speed, the bar path, it's going to slow down. Now, Mr. Mike, he didn't know that. We've seen those videos in the past. He was training. He didn't realize that the bar is going to slow down. Lyle has explained this to us. But here's the thing. It depends on the exercise. On the bench press, when you're laying down, it's kind of easy. The bar is slowing down. You can feel it. But when you're doing pull downs, for example, when I'm doing my lat pull downs, when the bar starts to slow down, I can get 10 more. When the bar has stopped moving, I can still get 5 more. Little bit of a sway, little body English, some momentum, and I can continue to push harder. And so when should you actually stop? 2 reps in reserve. Reserve of what? Whose reserve? Yours or mine? Your 2 reps in reserve is like 10 of mine. When I watch you and you're almost at failure, that is my warm-up set. You train like a pussy. Like most people in the gym. If you're watching this video right now, you probably train like a 95% of you don't train hard enough. 5% of you, hey, congratulations. But because I'm trying to help the most amount of people, I'm going to tell you this. If you're not a beginner, you need to train harder than you're doing right now. And if you do, you'll be better. I don't care if it's walking, running, playing sports, studying, your job, your relationship. You're not putting in enough effort because you suck. Your parents, they didn't raise you right. Also, schools gave you participation ribbons for just showing up when they should have said, you suck. Hey, you got an A, awesome. A B, that's below average. A C, I'm crying over this right now. A D, you're a dumbass. An F, fuck. That's what it should be. But in today's schools, no. A is awesome. B is wow, bien. C is congratulations. D is you done it right. And an F is, well, we'll figure it out. That's friggin' 2026 in schools. And remember, I used to be a teacher. Not to fail the student. How will that feel? They won't like it. How are we supposed to motivate people to study when there's no way they could fail? And so we teach them in life, no one can fail. Right? You didn't do good enough at your job? Well, you're fired. What do you mean I'm fired? I'm going to go tell my dad. I'm going to post this on social media. Look, he's trying to fire me. Yeah, you're fired. You suck. Don't come back. People actually think that they don't need to put out any effort because their entire lives they never needed to put out any effort. This is schools, this is society, this is people in the gym, and so no wonder you all suck so bad.
#3 is Pomni. Pomni actually structurally happens to be the thickest skin in Fortnite.
Like I'm not lifting nothing, and I'm lifting till I can't lift anymore. Those are measurable. 2 reps in reserve, how do you measure that? This is scientific nonsense.
And so 2 reps in reserve is scientific nonsense. Now, if you're a beginner, hey, that can work. But if you're intermediate or advanced and you're not training to failure, what are you even doing in the gym? Why even bother? And we even had Jeff Nipa, you remember the science-based lifter? He used to tell us to do all these reps in reserve, but then remember when he said, I'm going to do an experiment, I'm going to start training hard? He finally listened to Coach Greg and he put in the effort. And what happened? He gained 4.6 pounds of muscle in a year. Hadn't put it on muscle in half a decade. But the year he puts in some effort, trains to failure, pushes himself, that's the year he makes some gains. And so what do you think we should listen to? Mr. Mike, last I checked, no Mr. Olympia titles, doesn't even have a pro card, or Dorian Yates, who trains like Mike Mentzer. I'll let you decide.
Intensity is the key to muscle growth. Yeah, I keep saying it, and I get this pushback, but I'm going to keep saying it.
And so intensity is the key to muscle growth. Dorian is correct. No, you're not right because science says you're wrong. Well, my calves were 14 inches, and I trained 2 sets a week, and they grew to 22 inches. No, science says you needed to do more volume. Did I, though?
When they talk about this science-based training, I'm not familiar with the science. I don't know how they conducted it or who with.
And so Dorian admittedly doesn't even know all the science, and how did that affect him? I mean, only 6 times Mr. Olympia champion. Ronnie Coleman, you think he knows all the science, 8 times Mr. Olympia champion. And so if all the science is so important, why do guys that don't have the science look better than those who do? If you needed all of this science, why aren't all the professional bodybuilders, the ones whose lives depend on it, the most advanced and gifted bodybuilders in the world, why aren't they relying on science? If science actually worked in training and building muscle, the best athletes would be using it. Does that make sense?
Extraordinarily difficult to get a cohort to begin with, to get funding for a study, get a cohort of people that will actually push it hard enough to really measure intensity.
You really think these studies had Dorian Yates, Ronnie Coleman, myself, other athletes? No, a bunch of soccer moms. Do you really think that we all grow in the same sense? Or that we can all push ourselves equally? You're going to get 100 volunteers and say you have to train to failure every day you work out for a year in comparison to people that train like pussies? It's not happening. There is no scientific research based on this. It's impossible to exist.
As long as it's like to failure, you're going to get the stimulation. Yeah. 6 reps, 15 reps. You know, if you go higher, I'd argue it's not as effective.
And so it's not the rep range. It's not if you did 5 or 8 or 12 or 15. It's how hard did you go? And so when you do your next set, your next workout, don't worry about how many reps am I doing on this set. Think, how hard am I going on this set? And then the next time you go in, say, I'm training harder than last time. Like, I've been saying this for years, and really, growing up is realizing that Coach Greg was right all along, that I've always been right. You doubt me. You're thinking, no, he's just saying that. And the reason you're doubting me is because of the Mr. Mikes and the bullshit that's on the internet. People disagreeing. Oh, Coach Greg said you don't need to bulk and cut. Did you? Did you really need to bulk and cut to put on muscle? Or could you not maintain at a very healthy level of body fat? And so Tristan Lee is finally clued in. Took him about 8 years. And he's now eating more calories in order to put on more muscle. You can't maintain at single-digit body fat. You need to be a little bit higher. But you don't need to bulk and cut, mini bulk and mini cut in order to put on muscle. What about the DEXA scam that I've been talking about for 6 years now? That it wasn't accurate, but it's the holy grail. It's more accurate than anything. No, my laser eyes are more accurate than DEXA scan. Oh, you're so cocky. No, I'm just honest. I'm just accurate. I'm just telling you facts. No, it can't be. And what did Mr. Mike say and do? He proved it wasn't accurate. He went on one DEXA scan, he was 14.3% body fat, and the next DEXA scan was 6% body fat. And so, which was correct? And we've seen a nutrition narc. He started at 17+% body fat, dieted down 23 pounds, ended at 14%. Are you serious? I lost 4% body fat? Dieting for all those months is not possible. I had a fully defined six-pack. And so those are DEXAs. And the women, this is 20% when we know it's 30. Or we'll see a woman post her body fat, it's 28, she looks 20. Because those tests are guessing. They're not accurate. And by the way, that applies to BIA, the in-body scam, all of that bullshit. And so, what have I been saying all of these years? Train harder than last time. Oh, he doesn't know what he's saying. This is stupid. That doesn't make any sense. Yes, it does. And Dorian is backing it up. And dieting, just eat in a calorie deficit. There's none of this bullshit metabolism bullshit. All bullshit. Get the book. You eat in a deficit. You eat your protein and you lose weight. Does it seem confusing? But no, we don't want to listen to Greg saying do 150 minutes of cardio a week. We want to find some bullshit science-based drama in order to think we're training effectively to convince us that we need to hold back. They're holding you back on purpose so that you have to keep buying their apps.
The density of the muscle standing next to other people was so different that it made them look soft.
You know why they actually look soft, though? Like, the real reason. Like, are we going to actually tell the people the truth about why they look so soft? It's the oils and the injections, as well as PMMA, combined with using insulin and growth hormone in order to speed up your muscle growth. For starters, when you use insulin and growth hormone, you're increasing the glycogen storage in the muscle. It doesn't look as hard because glycogen is 1 part glucose and 3 parts water. And so when you have more glycogen, you have more water. Water, it's soft. Think of it. Punch the water versus punch concrete. Which broke your fist? Water soft, you glycogen load more, and the muscles, they swell out, they balloon up, and you get a pump. But it doesn't have the same graininess, dryness. Dryness comes from not having as much water. Does that make sense? Next, if you're injecting oils, like you all know synthol, also have you heard of hyaluronic acid, or even the carrier oils that have the testosterone when you inject it? Think of it. You're injecting in your delt. It's bad. And you do that repeatedly over and over. What do you think is in your delt? There's oil. Every time you inject it, it's getting bigger. And so you have a puffy, rounder appearance. Your delt, it comes out. Now, if you're not just using oils, you could be using hyaluronic acid or synthol. What do you think happens? It comes out, perhaps an inch or two on each side. And so when you're standing like this, the delts are more rounded. They're capped. But the striations are not the same. When you pull back, you're not seeing the cuts as they once were. Remember, these guys are shredded. They're gonna have striations coming down on their arms. Same applies to the chest. When you're striated, you can see the lines. But if you're injecting your chest with synthol, filler, or PMMA, it isn't actually muscle. It's something else. Is it big? Of course it is. When women get silicone breast implants, their chests, they look bigger, but it's not actually muscle, and so it looks different. How many times do you look at a triple D breast implant superstar and think, wow, her pec muscles, they look great? No, you're saying her tits, they look great. Her boobs, tits, bosoms, call it what you will, but it isn't muscle. And so if you just inject these things into your bodies, into your lats, into your biceps, into your delts, it doesn't give you the hard, grainy appearance that once was. And so when Dorian Yates flexed like that, you could see the Pac-Man, the bicep conditioning, the definition, the detail, perhaps some striations. But when bodybuilders do it today, they look like that. I'm a 50-year-old man and I have better biceps than some of these IFBB pros. Where is the detail? This is a 50-year-old bicep. Why do they look so soft when they're at 4% body fat? Guys, cross-striated quads, etched in glutes, but their biceps, they look like that. How is it possible to have softer biceps than an old man? It makes no sense, and the reason is because PMMA, synthol, hyaluronic acid, and oils. It's not muscle, it's oil.
Regardless of who has the biggest gluteus maximus in the game, Chun-Li is the thick skin of Fortnite.
Milos, he was coaching NASA, somebody, and I don't know what happened with them. They fell out, right?
Yeah.
So he's like, oh, let me tell you, this protocol with insulin that I was doing with NASA.
And he's speaking of Nazar, FY, passed away at 47. These guys who are abusing all of these steroids, growth hormones, the list goes on and on. Many of them are gone, taken away from us far too soon. And so, please be careful.
There was a rule in the IFBB that you can't have implants.
And so I think everyone knows that you can't have implants as a bodybuilder, like pec implants, delt implants, and so on. And so people have found a way to get around that. And so your favorite superstars, they're not getting implants, whether it's glute implants, pec implants, delts, biceps, and so on. They're using fillers like hyaluronic acid or synthol, as well as PMMA. And for females, they are in fact getting a BBL. BBL on top of adding in PMMA, remember, it's inside of your muscle, and so you can't see it from the outside. And so when a female has glutes that just don't make any sense, and she swears there's no implant in there, she's not lying to you, but she is in fact being a little dishonest. There's no implant, but there is in fact filler that's not real muscle, and that is why their glutes look so good. Not everyone, but many.
You know, bodybuilding gets enough anyway. That it's not really a sport. It's all drugs and blah, blah, blah. But it's becoming not a sport, right? Because this is not now just a result of your work.
And so bodybuilding, it's a very strange sport. It's the only activity I know where you do something completely different than the training you do to get there. And so how is it a sport when to win that sport, you lift weights in the gym and you get surgeries and cosmetic injections in order to win? My opinion, it's a beauty pageant.
So is it sport now? Are we allowed to like put substances in there to change the shape and everything?
And so obviously, we're not going to see bodybuilding in the Olympics. If it was actually a sport, why isn't it in the Olympics? Imagine the corruption that would be along in the Olympics and the level of cheating. And it wouldn't be with performance-enhancing drugs, although that would be bad enough. It would be with injections. Picture it. You enter a natty bodybuilding competition. You are natty. You're not using steroids, SARMs, peptides, none of that stuff. But you're using PMMA, synthol, hyaluronic acid. Imagine the advantage you could have from having shoulders 2 inches wider. Use your heads, people, and figure it out.
Why are you listening to these people? Who are they? So you got coaches that have never done anything, but they're coaching people.
And so do you realize how many coaches are coaching athletes and don't have a clue what they're doing? They haven't competed. They haven't even won a major competition. And somehow they're the experts and you're relying on their information to tell you what to do? They're not Coach Greg. They don't have any education. They don't have a master's degree in kinesiology like a Coach Greg. They don't have 40 years of lifting experience. And so how can you expect a teenager, someone in their early 20s, to know what somebody who's been around the block, who's competed for decades? It's not a fair comparison. And so if you listen to them blindly, then, well, I guess you're kind of an idiot. Like, especially the coaches who do this. Now, if it's natural, hey, is it really going to be all that bad? Probably not going to be irreversible damages. But if you have a coach and you're using steroids, SARMs, peptides, you know the risk that you're taking. You're going to listen to somebody that could completely wreck your life, actually end up destroying you. Perhaps at the start, you're going to do it natural. Halfway through your diet, it's hard. What can I now take? Every drug under the sun, they're going to offer to you. And oftentimes these coaches are selling these products. And so the motivation for you to use these products, it's higher than last time. We've seen bodybuilders who literally have coaching platforms and they try to convince you that you need to use steroids.
You're the #1 most crackable skin in Fortnite and a team leader.
Every man over the age of 21 should try Tren at least once in their life, if they're mentally stable.
Every man should try Tren at least once, assuming they're mentally stable. A, how do you know you're mentally stable? And B, Tren can cause you to no longer be mentally stable.
Why? Because it gives you that confidence factor, that drive, that mentality. It brings out that dog in you.
All of those things you can do without Tren, or without any drug for that matter.
That's needed in life as a man, to want to conquer, to want to accomplish, to set very, very delusional goals.
By definition, setting delusional goals is delusional. And so is this video. Like, what is wrong with you? Probably because you've taken Tren.
Yeah, there's also a lot of negatives, right? So that's why you gotta try it. That's why I said try it at least once, see if it works well with your body or not.
Right, and so, I think everyone should try math, because there are negative side effects, but you should try it at least once, assuming you're not an addict, because, well, math is a lot of fun. Really. What else should we be trying? Sniffing creatine. You should all try it, at least once. Give it a shot. Literally, this is asinine behavior, and he is literally an ass. Well, literally, he pins his ass.
If it doesn't, that sucks. If it does, your life has changed. It's
changed for the worse, and now you're dependent on a drug for the rest of your life that makes you dumber, that changes who you are as a person, because you listen to this idiot who wants to make you hire him as a coach so that you can be a better bodybuilder and buy steroids from him. That is what he wants.
It's like me, hey, Thomas, you want to go to the top of Mount Everest? I'll take you. I haven't been before, by the way, but I'll take you.
Great example, you hiring somebody to take you to Mount Everest who's never been there. Why? Because they read it in a book and they have nice looking photos of them in mountaineering gear. Like, that makes you think that they're somehow an expert to take you up to Mount Everest. Something that's extremely dangerous, which is to the same extent dangerous like competing in a bodybuilding competition, especially with performance-enhancing drugs. And so if you are in fact bodybuilding, and especially if you're using steroids, you need to find an educated and qualified coach. Somebody like Coach Greg, which of course you can click the link in the description and hire me right now.
You know, I did anabolics for on and off 12 years. If I continue to do that for another 12 years, good chance I'll be dead.
Are you even on TRT now?
I'm on TRT, yeah.
And so obviously, once you've been on steroids for a long time, you cannot just stop. You can think you can. He tried. He was depressed. He lost a lot of muscle. He felt like garbage. The mental was worse than the physical. And so he is, in fact, on HRT. I'm also on HRT. And remember, this is for the rest of your life. If you are abusing steroids, if you're taking anything, you need to get your blood work done. You should go to Algorex. Of course, I'm with Algorex, a part owner. You need to find out just how bad the things you're doing are to your health. The earlier you find out, the better. Get your blood pressure taken regularly. And if you are in fact going to use performance-enhancing drugs, the lowest dose that makes you happy, in my opinion, if that dose is above HRT, it's going to come at a cost. You have to be careful. And so, of course, if you're interested in staying natural, we have Turk Builder Max, GO2 Max for improving your cardio, very important. And if you want to double your testosterone, Ferula Max. You want to be natural, but have testosterone levels of somebody who's unnatural, and you pass every single drug test guaranteed, Ferula Max. The best new supplement in decades. You can line up right now and thank me later. It's equal to enclomiphene, which it is in fact banned by WADA, and so you can't use it and compete or you would be cheating, but you can get it at Algorex, doctor-prescribed medication. This is natty, or you can use enclomiphene, not natty. The choice is yours. Subscribe, click the bell button, comment to boost the algorithm, like the video if you like it. Don't forget to watch one of the 2 bloops. You can get sponsored, you can be an ambassador, you can get coached, or you can sell my stuff in your stores and or gym by clicking the links right now. And until next time, I am out.